So today's project is about changing out the steering wheel, the SRS airbag for a JDM Honda one from a DC5 Type R. Um, this project is probably well documented all over YouTube for other DC5 owners that have already done it. You can actually do a quick search and you'll find a few people that have already done it. And this is going to be me trying for the first time. So let's go ahead and unbox and let me show you what I got. So this is shipped from Japan. It is a DC5R steering wheel that's been used. You can't get them new these days, or it's hard to find, or they're really expensive. And I got it for a decent deal, but the only catch is there's no inflator. They've taken it out. At the same time, the Japanese inflator is not compatible with the US based ones. So this is what it looks like. I'm pretty excited. DC5 Type R steering wheels are hard to find these days, and I think they look really good. This one is pretty good in terms of there's just a few blemishes from what I saw from the listing. A little blemish here and a little scratch here. But other than that, there's not very much wear on this besides a few scratches, surface level scratches that I think I can just buff out on the steering wheel bag itself. So let's take a look at it next to this airbag that I have here. So today's project is actually swapping out the inflator for this Type S tan airbag. So I've already taken out this little unit here so I can have more access. It's kind of like the horn and kind of the mounting mechanism. But this is actually a tan steering wheel. I still have the original on my car, the black one, but I'm going to try to keep it intact. So that's why I'm going to use this one. I actually found this on Marketplace for pretty cheap. I got it for like 50 bucks, which is hard to find. And I figured I'll just keep that black Type S one intact and use the inflator here. The reason why I'm doing that is because the Japanese DC5R steering wheels, if I can pull this one out, has the inflator removed, but at the same time the inflator from the Japanese ones are single stage inflators and they're not dual stage. So it has like these two pins here for the USDM one, and for the Japanese one there's only one single one. And you could see here, they've already taken out the inflator. So the goal today is just take out this unit and plop it back on this one. They still give me the bolts, and it looks like they also use like a vice grip to add it in place. So as I was saying, what we need to do is actually take a vice grip and remove these existing bolts. I've already removed part of this bracket, so I have easier access to use a vice grip to remove these individual bolts here. I've already successfully removed one, and it looks pretty good. I could probably reuse the bolts, but what I'm going to do is probably use a new version of it. As you can see here, this is M5 by 0.8 thread. So this actually fits on pretty well, and I think I'll use this. That way I can actually tighten it appropriately with the ratcheting set. So let's go ahead and dive a little deeper and we'll get started. So what I'm doing is I'm going to use this nice vice grip here, and I've already taken off one bolt pretty well. The vice grip is really good instead of using just regular pliers because it'll grip it and hold it on pretty tight, so that way you don't slip and you don't actually tear up the nuts. So you can see that it's already moving pretty good. The first time you do it, it just breaks it apart, and after that it should be pretty easy. And then same here, it gets a little harder at this top portion, but I'm just going to grip from the top and spin it on here. All right, so I got all the screws out, and I'm going to quickly lift up the inflator just to show you guys what it looks like. Boom. And so pretty much what we're going to do is take this existing Honda airbag. You can see it looks like this. And we're just going to take this inflator and just transfer it over so that it goes on completely on the other side. All right, and once you put the dual stage inflator on the DC5R airbag, I'm just going to go over here and put a new set of nuts on there. So I picked up a new set of nuts just because I don't feel comfortable using the old ones, just because you're not able to torque them just because we're using pliers. So I want to use a new set just to torque them down. And then at the same time, I'm probably going to use some thread locker here. And it's got some blue thread locker, medium strength, so we'll be able to remove it if we ever need to, which I doubt we'll ever touch this again. But we're just going to put a little thread locker on the threads and on the nut. That way we're able to make sure it stays in place. So these nuts, as mentioned, picked them up, and they're supposed to be M5 by 0.8 thread count. So they spin on perfectly. I just need 2 more. You need 4 of them to replace the existing hardware. And that's what I'm going to do right now. All right, so I got it torqued down to the spec that I wanted to. There is no torque spec for this. I just torqued it down at something that I was comfortable with, and put some thread locker, and use these serrated flange nuts, and so it has a little grooves there, so it'll keep it from moving, in addition to the thread locker from the vibration, and hopefully this does it. This is well documented all over YouTube about other people, other DC5 owners that have done the same, and so this is just kind of my rendition of it, but here it is, and I'm going to try it out, and hopefully it'll work out. So let's go ahead and take a look at the car, and we'll go from there. I'm still debating if I should use this full steering wheel or if I should just use the airbag only, because I had already wrapped my existing steering wheel. All right, so I'm in the car, and I wanted to show you guys my older steering wheel. This is the RSX Type S steering wheel in black, has the Acura logo, and originally when I got it, if you look at my older videos, this steering wheel was pretty beat up, and what I did is I took some leather kit for the RSX and I wrapped it. So I pretty much put a steering wheel wrap above it, and then I sewed down the threads here. So for me, it looks pretty good. You know, one of the things I like about it is how bright red the stitching is in comparison to some of these used steering wheels that are a little bit more faded. And now that I have the DC5R, or the red hazard light, I feel like the Type R airbag would look really good right here. So if you can imagine this one just sitting right here, I think it'll just complete the look, just make it look a lot more polished. The only thing I'm trying to figure out or decide is if I should use the original Momo steering wheel that came in the DC5 Type R. with the Honda, because I've done all this work wrapping it. So still debating that. I think the feel looks it feels really good, the leather, even if this is used in its current condition. So that's one thing is a pro. Besides it saying Momo, I feel like the shape of the steering wheel looks pretty similar. I don't know if there's any like physical difference. For visually, I see, from what I can tell, it looks very similar, but I'll do a size comparison or just kind of match it up. As you can see, it is pretty much the same exact size, even potentially bigger than the RSX Type S one. But it's really hard to tell. It's very, very minimal. It might be down to a few millimeters. The other difference is the RSX Type S has this cruise control module, which I still am running. And this one does not, but I think you can actually mount the hardware as long as you use the Type S casing to do it. And last but not least, I think it's really a visual difference. The most critical one is actually swapping out this dual inflator airbag. Does it actually work? Did it work? Is it safe? And I'll find out in a second as I change this out. And one last comment. I think one thing I did notice is there are grooves behind the steering wheel. And, I think it gives you a little bit more grip when you're driving in comparison to the one back here. I think there is, but when I wrapped it, it just kind of made it a lot more minimal, so you don't feel it. It's not as prominent here, but I do feel a little bit of bump here. It's just it's been wrapped, so a little less as prominent as this one, where it's just kind of in its more raw form. And generally, I think the stitching on this side has worn off in color, potentially. This actually might just be a pure black stitching one, so it might have come off just the black RSX interior or the DC5R interior. But these are just a few comments and just kind of thoughts as I'm sitting in this car, just thinking about kind of what I want to do.